My name is Paul Bennett.
And where do you work?
I work at Maple City Rubber.
How long have you worked here?
Let's see, I started working at the Maple City Rubber Company um, in 2005 on a part-time status out here in the factory as I finished up college. And then after that, I worked full-time out here and then went away for a year following my actual degree and then came back to work here. So I've been here since 2005, full-time since 2006-7 time frame, and so it's about almost 10 years now. Well, yeah, my family has been a part of this company since it started in 1915. Um, Mr. Schweitzer was one of the founding members of this, and that's my family. Well, it started in 1915, um, and it started as just like a privately held company between these two gentlemen, and then in 1917 is whenever they actually incorporated and made it official with the shareholders and the whole thing like that. So I don't know about all of them because I'm sure there's been many, many over the past 100 years that I couldn't really talk to the details of those specific hardships. But the way that we have really been able to stay not just in business but also in a profitable business setting has been our stance of really making a high quality product and doing it with customer service that is second to none. That's what we find really important, is to keep our product as high a quality as possible and really provide excellent customer service. And that really just kind of really puts us in a position that people want to continue to work with us. We also are very reserved in where we spend our money. We like to self-fund everything we do for the most part, if we can. That's our absolute first goal. And so as an economic downturn comes, not owing anybody money is really nice, that you can kind of take on those hits and some luck in there also. So everybody here definitely holds it close to their heart, I think. Well, I know I can speak for myself and all the ownership group that we've had here, is that making a product in America is really important to us, and it's something we're really proud to be a part of, and always have been. So we'd been through, there's been many economic hardships that come through over 100 years, but our most recent um, um, hardship that came about was not specific to Maple City Rubber, but one that really hit the entire balloon industry, and that was in 2012. There was a helium crisis that came on where um, the, um, the reserve for helium out in Amarillo, Texas, in that area, um, shut off. They were not supplying anymore, and actually it was the federal government that provided all that helium, and when they shut it off, it really put a hardship on the market, and the private industry was not really set up to take on the the load that was going to come their way, and needing to provide more helium for the industry. And it really made it where you couldn't get helium if you wanted to, and if you wanted to, all the helium was being directed towards medical labs, those kind of things. And balloons, if you were just a supplier of balloons somewhere, you were at the bottom of the totem pole to get your allocated helium. If you can't have helium, nobody wants you to bring their balloons either. So it was a really big hit for us, and not just for us. Like I said, the whole industry, the balloon industry, kind of took a hit on that, and we're still digging out of it. It's recovered where everybody can get their helium, but how much they can get and also the cost has really changed. Here at Maple City Rubber, we're just doing everything we can to offset those that downturn in the helium, and trying to provide our customers with some alternatives to the helium usage, where they can use some air-filled products, and also different ways to use the current latex balloon without needing helium. At Maple City Rubber, our main product line, and really the one thing we really put out is the Tough Tex balloon line. And that balloon line really is a very high-end balloon. We try to, and of course I'm a little biased in this because this is what I do, but we try to put out into the market the highest quality balloon that anybody who was in the balloon industry would want to use. We're not beating everybody on price points or anything like that, but one thing we've always stayed true to is, like I mentioned before, customer service and providing the highest quality product we possibly can. So as the economic downturns come and all the helium and things come, what we never really, not really, what we have never compromised is the quality and integrity of the Tough Tex balloon line. It's a balloon that has the highest, well, again, in my opinion, not just my opinion, but industry known as one of the highest balloon color quality balloons, where it's very consistent and it has a very good color to it, where some of the competition that we would go against would be a cheaper balloon line, and their whole emphasis is on a price point. And we have just chosen with the Tough Tex balloons to never compromise the quality of our balloon. So we don't always find most of our market in the traditional balloon setting where you think of going to a birthday party or something like that where there may be some balloon bouquets around here and there. We've really found a home with some advertising where it's a very durable outdoor balloon where they can be used outside, but when I say durable, it's also used in other applications where if they were setting up for a movie set or something like that, and they're going to need multiple days with the same balloons, they don't have to worry about, you know, setting up and taking them down and stuff like that. They've been used in a lot of those avenues, but also we're finding a lot of usage in almost like a ball where they'll they'll use them for balloon drops a lot of times, and really you know, at concerts and stuff, if you ever seen one of those around, they they drop from the ceiling and there you go. So because of their durability, they've been used in many different applications. I wanted to come work in this environment because of the family dynamic here. I didn't even think it existed really in this world anymore, to come somewhere like this and work and really and truly enjoy it, and, you know, be around people you like every day and have fun with it. And that doesn't mean necessarily just the fact that it was, you know, my new family that I was with. They actually did it, but also as the people that I was involved with here. As I got to know them over the time when I was working in this place and finishing up everything, I wanted to come back and be part of that. But what really and truly brought me back here is I wanted to be part of an American-made product. I think that it's important that we do continue to push, you know, in this country to promote manufacturing here, and it is, you know, kind of on its coming back into this country some more, and I wanted to be a part of doing something here, and that's what really brought me back, and what really brought me into this position is being an American manufacturer. My job title here at Maple City Rubber is I'm the Chief Operating Officer. Well, I have a lot of different things, but as I came through the company, I came through multiple different roles, coming from the technical process side of it, and also through the safety. I kind of continue those hats, and really, as the Chief Operating Officer, I have my hands in pretty much every part of the company. That's kind of changed with me a little bit, because historically there's been one main person who was the sales and the outside person, and then there was somebody else that was the quote unquote factory side as the operations person and stuff like that. But as this has migrated towards me, I kind of have merged those a little bit, where I'm able to have a more complete understanding of the market, the industry of balloons and everything else that is involved in that, but also still maintain focus on operations. I've done many jobs here at Maple City Rubber, and I really, probably like everybody else has said, started from the bottom. And it's probably kind of interesting. My original position here was tank. I was a tank maintenance and cleaner guy. So we put our latex on a schedule that every so often it needs to be removed from the tank where the production's happening, got all the gunk off the bottom and cleaned out, and then put back into the tank. The latex gets filtered, and I basically did that and cleaned out the holding totes and stuff like that. It was really nasty. It was, I mean, not nasty. It was no, just latex. But I'd go home and it'd take me half an hour in the shower. I actually stole one of the little scrub brushes off the Gojo bottle, and I'd get in the shower with conditioner, and you just have to kind of start scrubbing on your hair, and it would be all over you, just everywhere. I had special clothes that stunk like latex, and it was just everywhere. Once you got a piece of latex on you, that was your work shirt now, So I started there, and I was actually doing it 1 day a week on Fridays. That was my very, very first, because my classes were from Monday to Thursday. I'd get off school on Thursday, drive back here from Pittsburgh, and come into work on Friday mornings, 8 hours or whatever, leave, and I'd spend the weekend with my fiance at that time, maybe girlfriend, I don't know. But I married her, but it'd pay me about $70 or something, just enough. It really was enough to pay for my gas there and back, so that was okay. So I was working there, working here, doing that, graduated, and there's a delay in the hire process going to the federal government, and came here full time and got right into maintenance, and started learning all the things to do with maintenance other than where the light switches are. But I did that for quite a while, maybe 6 months or 8 months. I call that quite a while, and actually it's for the entire year. And just so happens that there was a day that some of the higher ups at the time had met and discussed, offering me a position, like, why don't you bring him on full time and let's just, make this his career, seems like a good enough guy and maybe can be here and help us out. And made the offer. I went home to talk to my wife about the whole thing, and in the mail that day was my hire letter from the FAA, same day. Really weird. And I got hired into the only position that I was going to take, which would have been a controller in Oberlin, Ohio. So we could still stay in Norwalk with the family, and I could, travel that short time trip to Oberlin and work there. After we took the job. I took the job, left. See, this is my details part I talk about. Left. Was working there and realized that this is really what I want to do for all the reasons I mentioned before: the family, being part of something, that I really felt passionate about. So I came back and got right into working with the chemist here and the technical director, and learning all parts of the process, the chemistry behind the whole balloon process, how it relates to our particular production setup, and that turned into doing some more safety applications, which turned into I was promoted or changed to general manager within probably the first 16 months or so of doing that, mainly out of necessity. But because of the background in there with the technical process, I kind of kept I stayed part of that. And soon after that, the individual who was doing it, who was an integral part of developing all things here at Maple City Rubber, and the Tough-Tex balloon primarily, his name was Dave Norris. He got sick and passed away rather quickly. fast enough where we didn't really get anybody um, fully in his place before he was passed, and so that remained a big part of my job as I was migrating through and taking on the different responsibilities as the GM, general manager of the facility, and then as the COO. But the process of making balloons has definitely changed since Maple City Rubber started in 1915. It went from a manual setting, and a lot of automation came into the industry, where I've heard stories, even with the current employee base, that either did it or their predecessor was doing this, where they were hand dipping everything. And so as 50s and 60s, a lot of hand dipping was happening, where they had a person who really dipped. They'd go through a thing, they'd put it on a go, and the next person would handle it, and they'd go through the process that way, and then they would be stripped by hand. And during that time of, let's say, 50s, 60s, 70s, if you didn't upgrade, you were just pretty much conceding to the fact that you don't want to do it anymore. You know, you decided you're not going to put the money in to do this because you won't remain competitive, because there was also a big push on production done offshore, imported balloons coming in, which really put a lot of balloons into the industry or into the market on a much lower price point, if you will. And so it kind of took some sales out of this sort of balloon manufacturing we did in the U.S. So those two things together kind of really hurt some of the U.S. manufacturers of balloons, because we operate and sell on a toy level. It's a toy, and so competing with toys for a long time now against imports or offshore manufacturing has been a very big challenge. We were able to make it, but just because we were sort of out of that toy industry. We had already kind of migrated to this high quality balloon, but and we purchased some equipment that was a batch dipping system, where a lot of high volume manufacturers, higher than us and more just for the numbers, pieces made and with a little lower quality, we'll do like a continuous drive, or it's just kind of the flow is always going, and you can get a high quality balloon out of that, but our automation is in a batch dip setting to optimize kind of our quality. Being a balloon manufacturer, the kind of you get a different conversation. Let's say, even with my kids love that, their dad makes balloons. They're still little, they're still young, and maybe some dads can do no wrong at that age maybe until they figure that out. But they love it. They love saying their dad makes balloons. They love kind of what it gets them into, the fact that if the school needs something, or they know we are able to bring them the balloons, and they use them in these applications, and they're proud of that. That's their thing, and not just that, but I mean, there's really a kid in all of us that kind of gets into it. You don't really think about it every day, and then you're somewhere and you get a balloon, and it's just kind of nice. You have that balloon, so that's kind of fun. And then to say that you did that, or you get a kick out of seeing the balloons on a set, or being used somewhere, or even just in the balloon drop, and then chaos ensues. But it's fun to be a part of that, and and it's really neat. My now wife was a salesperson here. My father-in-law worked here also at that point in time, and so it really literally was family. But beyond that, it was as much of a family as you can really be a part of and not be your family. We took everybody's birthday as serious as their parents or kids did. You know, if you worked here and it was Friday when it was your birthday, we're going after work, or we'll you know, blow up balloons. Imagine that, and put them at your desk, and there'll always be a cake there, and there'll always be a big deal over every single thing that we possibly could. And the people who work here live here, and so when they're in the community, they can talk and have pride in where they work, and not feel like it's a second-rate kind of place. And when they say they work at Maple City Rubber, people are like, oh, that's fun. How is that? And they're like, it's great. And that's what we try to achieve. So
That's good.
for the last, you know, we've been here in Norwalk for 100 years, and over that time, we have been a major employer of the community. You know, we've had so many people here and then moved on, or for whatever reason. We have always provided a good work environment and jobs for the Norwalk residents. I would say that in the community, this place is tied to everybody in one way, shape, or form. And sometimes we kind of fly under the radar somewhat. We don't really go out and look for a ton of credit. The people who work here know, the people who are doing it know. But you know, when we put a lot of balloons into, let's say, once a year, let's say the chamber puts on an event to help local businesses promote themselves and stuff like that. I mean, every other booth will have a nice little setup of balloons that no one knows that they came from us. They went out and got balloons somewhere, but you know, we like to support that, and you know, we don't go and make them put a Tough Tex banner up anywhere. You know, so we support the community, but we don't really talk about it that much, and that's fine. I mean, I remember there was one time I was meeting with the mayor when I first started. It's like the hidden gem of Norwalk, because you never even know you're really here, you know, until you realize that we've been doing this right here for so long. You know, you'll have, you know, 10 or 20 other manufacturing settings that have come in and out and left and fell apart for one reason or the other, or moved on, or moved their, you know, operations and stuff down into offshore, and then we've just always still been here, you know. And really, that kind of is our style, is come in, give it everything you have. If you're looking for a lot of accolades, we give it to them in the form of, you know, within these walls, but it goes along those lines of what we do. It's family. This is our stuff. You know, it stays within this. And when you talk about what that spills out, that's why it's hard to find what happened with Maple City Rubber in the region, in the area. Over the course of the last, you know, 100 years, we've talked about there's been up times, down times, and after this last really downswing with the helium crisis and really the leveling out of latex pricing and stuff like that, we're really optimistic for what we're going to be doing in the future, in the near future, and also long term. Continue to grow, find different avenues into the balloon industry to increase, you know, our sales, and really remain a strong, vibrant company that is doing business for the next 100 years.